At Automasters LLC, our mission is to serve our community by providing quality automobiles at affordable prices. All of our vehicles are inspected and certified to offer you the confidence in knowing you have a quality vehicle. Our goal is to provide you with a seamless process and positive experience for your automobile purchase. Financing recommendations and specific vehicle inquiries are available at your request. You can find us at www.automasters06.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, please feel free to contact Terrence Miles at 601-927-7794. And oh yeah, tell him Sonia sent you.
She say, sports. 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 She say, sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome sports journalist, host, founder of Stamped It Sports Media, founder of LWS Foundation, and of course, host of Lizzie Sports Report, Miss Elizabeth Stamps. What's up, Liz?
Hi, I'm just happy to be on here. I'm on here with a goat for real.
Okay. She growing up June 18th, another big birthday. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing well. Well, as you can see, her last name is my last name. She is my baby cousin. Her father is my first cousin, and she's an amazing woman, but we're going to get into that. So how's the family? How's mom, Caleb?
Everyone's doing well. Caleb, he's in sports. So, we're constantly on the road. Basketball season is done. He played all season basketball. So they're heading to the playoffs. So now he's back practicing for football. So, he's keeping me and my mom on the road.
And he's what, 6'2"? How tall is he?
He's about, I think Caleb's about 6. He might be 6 feet now.
Okay, because I know he's taller than me, but I guess because he's a big guy, he's taller. Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Liz, let's get right into it. So, Liz, tell us how your sports journey began.
Okay, so starting back from when I first entered into Jackson State, I was a social work major. So I didn't major in journalism and media studies. I was a social work major. But I did start working with football. I was an equipment manager. So I really liked that. I like sports anyway because growing up, my dad, he's the one that had me into sports, watching all of these different teams, no matter what sport it was or, whatever team it was. I was always interested in sports. I always found myself watching games, wanting to go to games, watching highlights, watching, different sports reporters and all. Yeah. So I'm like, let me get into something that I really wouldn't have a problem doing all day within my career. Exactly. So I was like, okay, let me get into this. And it's just something that I've loved, ever since. And I just decided to go ahead and just start my own platform like you did.
Well, you are doing amazing. I'm so proud of you. So, you mentioned, and that's amazing. Because Sonia Maria was a social worker major as well. But I'm glad that you caught that at the beginning so you wouldn't waste so much time in another major. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you caught that. So you started working in equipment, with sports. And you got a chance to work with Coach Prime during his tenure here. So, and his staff. So tell us about how it was working for him and what were some of your other duties that you had to do?
Okay, so being honest, my first day, I was like really nervous because for one, you talking about a Hall of Famer and like other coaches who coached in the NFL and all. Right. So I was kind of, I was nervous and scared at first. But as I continued to, keep doing it, I saw how the program started to grow over time. Keep in mind, like we're gonna talk about how Jackson State did already have, established culture, but
Exactly.
it just began to, grow in other different aspects. So it was a really good experience. And as far as equipment, without a equipment team, you can't function a football team. So we did all of the daily things, running practices, helped them run the drills. We washed, we got everything together from helmets, jerseys, undergarments, everything, travel practice uniforms, travel uniforms. We ran pre-game day routines, as well as on the sideline, we were the ball girls sometimes. So that was actually funny. That was an actual fun thing as well. So it was a very good experience overall. I just love to see how it just caused something like once he came, everyone already knew who Jackson State was anyway. But
Right.
when he came, other eyes in the sports world began to, see how the culture was at Jackson State, and they still do. So it was a
Correct.
very fun experience.
That's good. So did Coach Prime, did he give any advice on, did he know you were a sports major or what, I'm sorry, a journalism major, and did he give any insight on your journey in sports?
He did. He actually found out about it. I started creating graphics for all of the commits that we were receiving, from when he was here. And he ended up seeing it because when I would post a graphic of a new commit, he would see it because everyone would be reposting it. Because it wasn't always, a lot of other people who actually posted graphics with what school they came from, what position they play, where they're from. So he started recognizing it then. And one day after practice, well, after I was getting ready to leave from my day working with equipment, we were meeting with him about a sports symposium that was in Atlanta. And we got to talking about what I actually do. So he gave me advice. He connected me to a couple of people that he knew that worked in the NFL. So I still have, connection with some of those people that could help me get to where I need to go. And he would also sometimes like give me insight. I always wanted to do like, little picks every Sunday or like Monday or Thursday. So
Oh
he would
yeah.
give me right. So he would give me a little insights. I'll ask, okay, this is who I chose. Who do you think? Because I really want to see it from a person who actually played in the pro. I wanted to see how
Right.
he, what he thought about it. So he never had a problem with, helping me along that. Like I said, different things that I needed critiques on. He gave me critiques, So with that, gave me different insight on the game as a whole. And throughout time, when you first came in, you don't just develop a relationship with people. So it was kind of, I'll see him this and that or the other. I see him at practices or whatnot. But then after that, he found out what I was doing, and then he started helping me alongside some of those things. So he actually, helped a lot within the sports training.
That's awesome. I mean, to get information and knowledge from a Hall of Famer. I mean,
Right.
this is one of my favorite phrases. You was still with Jesus when he was playing, but when I say it was something to see, and I know you see the highlights, but just to experience it, it was an
Yes.
amazing thing. It really, really was. So Liz, tell us about Stamped Sports Media and all that it provides. And before you tell me that, I know how you got the word stamped from my last name, but what made you name it Stamped Sports Media?
Okay, so I would say because I always hear, a lot of people, the negative effect that they have against the media would be credibility. So I
Mm,
always made it my goal to, try to make sure all the information that I put out is credible.
I love
So
that.
I can stamp it that it is credible. So that's where I got it from, Stamped in Sports. So everything that I put out, any type of media information that I put out, I can stamp it that it is credible. So that's where I got the name from. And like I said, Stamped in Sports Media came from the graphics that I started. And then I started while working at Jackson State. I started doing a couple of interviews with players, so that's where the interviews I did my first interview during those interviews with the Jackson State players. And
Okay.
then I started to attend SWAC Media Day. And that's when I really had my breakout because I interviewed some of the SWAC coaches and SWAC players. And of course, I was nervous because I was the youngest sports journalist there for one. And other
Right.
people, they were working for different news outlets. So I was kind of nervous because I'm like, okay, I started my own platform. I hope people actually, take me serious and everything, even though I am young. But I did all of those interviews. And before I started, one thing that I made sure I did, every coach that I went up to, every player that I went up to, I made sure that I introduced them formally of who I am, what my sports platform is, and why I started it. And yes, I am still a student, but I wanted to let them know that I'm serious about my job and why I
Right.
wanted to do the interview with them. So after Sweat Media Day, that's when I was ready to, get it running. So yeah, that's when I really started, contacting other players to do interviews, going to different events to do interviews and all of that. So that's where it came from. So I offer interviews. I've just started doing photography as well and videography. So that's a new component. So
Okay.
those are all of the things, it has different components to it now.
I love that. And so, and with your different components, you don't necessarily just, because you're doing videography, you're doing pictures, you're doing graphic designs. So you don't necessarily just do only sports, you do other things as well. Tell us about that.
Okay, so besides sports, as far as photography and videography, I started doing graduation, prom, maternity, different events. I'm going to be doing something for a seminar, a choir seminar at the end of May, towards the
That's
end of May.
awesome.
So, I just started to branch out outside of sports. I love sports, I really do. But I started realizing how I can also use my platform to help others in other different spaces as well besides sports.
Exactly. And it also branches out and opens a whole different network for you.
Right.
So that's very smart. I mean, that's wisdom. So I know you enjoy doing that, but how much do you enjoy reporting on the sideline?
Ooh, reporting on the
I
sideline. So
know.
I did my ooh. So you already know that's a whole different ball game right there.
It's a totally different ballgame.
Right. So I did my first sideline reporting at the HBCU Legacy Bowl, not this year, but last year.
Okay.
So, we had different players, and one that I definitely remember, LeJon Nugget Warren. He was in the HBCU Legacy Bowl. So that's
Hmm.
when I did my first sideline reporting, and I actually did like kind of sort of like a play-by-play thing because I did a report after he had an interception. He got an interception. So I
Okay.
was able to, I'm watching the game, I'm gathering everything that's happening. I'm like, oh, this is something that just happened. I can do a sideline report on this. So I
Mhm.
did that, and I also did, halftime recaps and all of that. So I really like it. Like I feel like it's different because first of all, you see everything up close and personal. Then if you're watching on TV, it's a whole different view. You're able to see more logistics of everything. So
Exactly.
I really like it. I want to do it more. I don't do it that much, but I really want to get more into it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. I I've done it a couple of times, and you're right. It's a totally different animal. I enjoy it a lot because I enjoy people and I love talking. So that's really, really fun. I'm actually gonna be, and I'll tell you about that later, but I'll be doing that in the fall. Not with college, but I'll get with you on that. So
Sure.
because I may bring you in on that. So that'll be fun. What female sideline reporter or female reporter do you enjoy that you've enjoyed and you try to emulate at some point?
I would say Maria Taylor. I really love her. She does the sideline reporting and the
Yeah.
commentating. So,
Mhm,
her, Taylor Rooks, as
mhm.
well as Romy Ben. I actually met Romy Ben the last time when I first went to Colorado. So I connected with her then. She does reporting for Denver Broncos.
Mhm.
She does Colorado CBS. So
Right,
she does, different sports in Colorado. So those
right.
are, a couple of reporters who I pattern myself out of. Outside of actually doing their job, their character, the
Mhm.
attitude that they have, just the way they do everything with ease. Like I said, their attitude, because a lot of times you find people who are so in their ways they know that they're good at what they do, but they try to gatekeep, all the information that they know so others won't be able to, get where they are.
Right.
But I can definitely tell, I haven't met Maria Taylor or Taylor Rooks yet, but I can tell, by their demeanor and their character from what I see that they are real, they have really genuine spirit. I
Yeah.
just love seeing them do what they do.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Trust and believe. They will meet you for sure. So Liz, we had a tragic loss in our family last year. November 1st, your father, my first cousin, passed away unexpectedly, and our family is still reeling and trying to put the pieces back together because he was the patriarch of our family since my dad and since our grandfather passed away. Um, his name was Larry. Well, his name is Larry Stamps, and he has four children, two boys, two girls, and he adored each of you. How did he feel? Well, I know how he felt about what you were doing in sports, but let the listeners know, how does your dad feel about your sports journey, and what advice did he give you?
He was very proud. He talked about it all the time. When I first, like I said, when I first changed my major, you know, sometimes you're very skeptical on like what your parents would think, because
Right.
sometimes it may set you back, you know, in courses or anything. Like you might be set back. But when I told them, they were actually like very excited. And they were like, you know, if that's what you want to do, then we support you 100%. And he was telling me, you know, I feel like you should have done that anyway.
Mhm.
And he was like, every time I did something, you know, he'll call everybody. You saw what Liz did. You saw she did this. You saw she did that. So he was
Yeah,
like very proud. Like you said, he did me and you the same way. First person to comment on everything that we do.
that's a
First
beautiful.
person to watch. You know, first person to share it with other people. So he was very proud. He always told me, you know, to keep going. And even when I had other situations against, you know, other people, because I lost a lot of friends, you know, across the past year. But he would always tell me, you know, like God takes people out of your life for a reason.
That's right.
And I actually believe that, because some of those people were taken out of my life, and once I was removed from different places, I started to see my growth, you know, as an individual as well as on my platform. And another thing, you already know this, he always talked about making sure that I get with you, because he know that you were good at what you do, and he know that your love that you have for me, what's very genuine. Like you
Yeah.
wanted to help me grow. So, like I said, I would have loved, like, me personally, if I would have been more fast at doing things, you know, he would have been able to see like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
But I know, like, I'm praying, you know, God just reveals all of this to him, you know, just lets him see all of this. So, yeah, he loved everything, you know, that me and you were doing. So,
Yeah. It was, and he sees us, but I'm like you. I wish he was here in the physical. um Thanksgiving 2022, our last Thanksgiving together, he pulled me aside and he was like, I want you to get with Liz, and I was like, I mean, she doing it. She working with Coach Prime. She don't need me. He was like, yeah, but I want you to help her. And so, um, you rolling already. I just, I just gave you a platform on She Say just to, get more eyes on you, but you're doing amazing. He's so proud of you. So, so proud of you. And like you said, it's I had a soror of mine. She works for Fox Sports, and she was on the show a few years ago. This is when I was just audio. I wasn't even virtual. And she told me then, she was like, don't expect your friends and family to support you. Don't even look for the likes. If this is something you like to do, if this is something you're passionate about, do it, whether you get
right.
one like or 1,000 likes.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew your father was going to like my stuff
Yes,
and or
ma'am.
comment.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciated it because I know that's my big cousin and he was proud of me. I'm sorry.
It's
So,
okay. You know, we
so,
both.
but I'm so proud of you, and he was very, very proud of you as well. And I can, you know, he's pushing you. He's pushing you, and I know you can feel it too. So, speaking of him, you actually started a foundation in honor of your father. Tell us about LWS Foundation.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with why I named it that. Of
Yeah,
course, it's his initials,
yeah,
but it's a real meaning behind it. He always told everyone what his initials stood for. He always
yes.
said it from day one. L stood for loving, W stood for winning, the S stood for striving.
Mm,
And that showed, who he was. He was a very loving person. We all know this.
yes.
Like they talked about, even the garbage men, they're coming down the street. He's gonna come out the house once he hear them. He's gonna try to help them put the garbage in the truck. They're like, "Pops, we got it." Everybody called him Pops. They're like, "Pops, we got it." He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna help." That's just who he was. He was a very
That's
loving
it.
person. He was just someone that anyone could call on, whenever they were going through things. He always had people calling him, texting him any times of night, any times in the morning. And it doesn't matter if he wasn't feeling well, because we know, like, he had those days, especially with his son, he had it really bad.
Yes.
But he wasn't ever going to tell anyone about what he felt. If he was feeling bad, he always wanted to make sure everyone else was okay. So that showed how he was a loving person.
Right.
Winning, I would say, because anything that my dad wanted, he went to get it. He
Yeah.
was like, that's who he was. And he always prayed and manifested what he wanted. So if he wanted this, he's not gonna say, I think I'm gonna get it, or I hope.
Right.
He's gonna say, it's already done.
It's already done.
So he already got the victory in anything that he wanted it in, because he knew the Lord was on his side. And I would say striving, because he always strived to do anything that he could in order to impact and help others.
Mhm.
Whatever he did, he wanted to make sure that he did it to help others. So that's why I named it the LWS Foundation, because I feel like it's a real meaning behind it, because I want to be loving to those who I can help. I want to win in what I do, help others win in what they do. And I want to strive to do all three of those things. So that's why I named it that. And actually, it also came from what I was named at first. So for the homeless. So it was snacks on wheels for the homeless. So
Mhm.
my mom, my dad, and I, we would ride around all the time, where we were going, and we would keep snacks in the truck. So we saw, anyone homeless on the side of the street or wherever we were going, we would give them a snack, a bottle of water or
Mhm.
something. Sometimes we had other things. So that's what it really, started from. So when I first relaunched it earlier this year in
Mhm.
January, I believe it was in January. I think it was
Yeah,
in
it
January.
was. Mhm.
So we went to Eden Park. I think it's called. I think it was called Poindexter Park. That's what everyone,
It was. Yeah.
So that's the park that we went to. The last time we went, he was talking to like all of the people that were there, having full blown out conversations with them. And they were actually like happy to talk to him. They were
Yeah.
talking for a long time. So I said, I'm gonna go back from where we started. So I went back. I put up, a whole bunch of things, pictures of my dad. The news was there too. And I told everyone that was there why I was there. I told them who I was there for. I let them know that he used to come, he used to try to help out, do everything, because I think they were like raised up around that area as well. They were always around areas like that.
Mhm.
So I let them know that, but I also started to branch out outside of, LWS for the homeless. I donated a couple of things to a classroom at Hazelhurst Elementary School.
Mhm.
And I've also planned to do other things as well, tied in with the sports things. So that's
Mhm.
where it came from. It's going to be a foundation in order to help others in need, in every capacity that I can help in. And I actually got it certified and named a nonprofit organization about 2 weeks ago. So that was a major accomplishment, I believe. So
Awesome.
it's official, continuing that legacy.
Official.
So I'm excited about that.
It's funny, I'm not, it feels like it's a Stamps thing because our grandmother, well, your great grand, Betty Lee Stamps, she passed away in 2002. She fed people around. And you said they did grow up over there. It was Short Bank Street, and she fed people around and the neighbors. One of them I remember, he was about to pass away. His family lived on the street, but he had hepatitis, and they didn't want to fool with him. But I remember her getting a tin pan, like a pie pan, and she put food in it and told him, and she put him at the table in the house and let him eat, and he just cried. And so we get that. And Stephanie, she cooks so much food. Stephanie is my sister. She cooks so much food on Sundays. She and I go out and pass out plates. We'll, she'll fix the plates and then we go give them to people like you and your dad and your mom was doing. So that's just something that's in our heart.
It is.
I felt like grandma, they didn't have a lot, but it was so much love. We felt rich. I never felt like they lived where they lived and I would invite people over because that's how much love she instilled in us. And it's about always helping people. So I'm very proud of you. I'm so proud of you doing this. You're gonna do some amazing things. I know it's not over, but I was gonna add, well, you kind of answered that. You already answered this, so never mind. But how can people, well, before you do that, it's a little game I play. And you'll give me that information, and it's called What You Know.
Sure.
And I'm gonna ask you Jackson State trivia. You better know these two. They're easy. What year was JSU founded? Now it's on all the shirts and jerseys and
1877.
That's right.
I know that.
So let me ask you this. This is part A to that. Part B. What's our school song?
It's hell to thee.
But what's the name?
Hell to thee.
Jackson.
Fair Jackson, dear.
Thee I love, my dear old college home. That's right. What is our mascot? Jackson State's mascot.
The Jackson State Tigers.
Do you know who the most famous Jackson State Tiger was?
As like an athlete?
No, he was the actual tiger. He was a tiger for like 20 years.
Don't say it, because my mom be telling me about him all the time. How many seconds I got?
Maybe 5.
Wavy Day.
I used to date him, Wavy Day. Yep, he was for 20 some years. He had been the tiger. Yep, before he was a tiger when he passed. Yeah. Who was Jackson State's most famous alumnus, former Chicago Bears running back and professional football Hall of Famer?
Walter Payton.
That's right, baby. WP. What former JSU football coach took the Tigers to back-to-back Celebration Bowl appearances?
Oh, Coach Prime.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
I had to think of it. I thought it was a trick question.
Right. Today, who is the 4th largest state-supported institution in Mississippi?
Jackson State.
Correct. I thought I had more. I'm supposed to have 4 more. Let me make some up real quick. I don't know. I forget it. Who had 4 back-to-back championships in basketball? Just won a SWAC tourney. Played in NCAA tourney 3 times during her tenure, and the NIT. Who is that GOAT?
Coach Tamika Reed, none other.
Who else? So while we're talking about that, that'll make up the rest of the time for the What You Know segment. As you know, as the world know, our beloved Coach Tamika Reed has moved on to the Charlotte Gold Miners, 49ers, in North Carolina at UNC Charlotte. And, sad that she's gone, but I'm happy for the growth. What are your thoughts on Coach's tenure at JSU, and what legacy does she leave behind at Jackson State?
First of all, she's done what no one else has done. And she actually put Jackson State women's basketball on the map. We set the standard. Yes. We were who everyone knew. You see Coach Don Staley, like everyone knew who Jackson State women's basketball was. Yes. They knew who Coach was. So every time anyone would get ready to play them, they would already say they knew they were going to have a competitive time because they knew what Coach Reed and the team had to offer, you know. And the only disadvantage that we may have had was that we didn't have some of the resources that some of the other teams had. If we would have had, like, I would put them up against anyone, you know, anyway. So she really set the standard for, I would say, women's basketball period, NCAA women's basketball period. Her attitude, you know, everything that she brought to the table. Anytime, everyone would be ready to see Jackson State women's basketball. Like,
That's true.
whether that was in the tournament, at a regular game, everyone came to see JSU women's basketball. So she definitely left a legacy. Everyone will remember everything that she did at Jackson State. And like I said, we're just excited to see what she does, you know, up there. Like, with everything, like, I saw the facility and everything, and I'm like, she got a lot to work with. Like, she got a lot to work with.
Oh, yeah. I'm planning on going to support a game. We got to go together. So let's plan on doing that. I plan on going to support her. She has been a true pillar in our community for so long. She grew up here. She went to Murrah. She went to Jackson State. And look at you. JPS kid, that's right. And so we're gonna miss her. We love you, Coach. We wish you well. Keep making us proud. Keep making us proud. Well, Liz, before we go, tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media. Listen to your segments, Lizzie Sports Report, when it comes on, and also how they can volunteer and or donate to the LWS Foundation.
Okay, so my Instagram is Elizabeth A. Stamp. On Facebook, I'm Elizabeth Stamp. On Twitter, I'm Stamp5 Elizabeth. STAMPS, the number 5, the actual number, Elizabeth ELIZABETH. And on YouTube, I'm Elizabeth Stamps Media. And you all can volunteer or donate to the LWS Foundation. We do have an Instagram, which is the LWS Foundation. I'm looking on creating a Facebook as well. But all the information on, you know, how you can donate or anything, it's on there. And my email is also on the Instagram. So you can email if you're willing to donate or direct message us. And the email for the LWS Foundation is lwscommunityfoundation@gmail.com.
And guys, you can follow me at She Say Sports on Facebook, She Say Sports 23 on Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Well, that's my show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia and Liz with She Say Sports.